Hey everybody, it's Vicki Williams with the Willow Group eXp Realty in downtown Eagleville. Stop in and say hello if you ever are in the area and see our agent on duty sign. Every now and then I love to introduce some people to our community. And today I've got someone really special that I met at Eagleville First Friday several months ago. And I've seen them every first Friday since. And it's Annice and Evan Oxford. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey, thanks so much for being here with us today and telling us a little bit about yourself. They are with Grove Hill Church in Chapel Hill, but they've got some exciting stuff to share about how they're going to impact Eagleville. But first, before we get into that, I want to know a little bit more about the Oxfords. Tell us about you.
So we are a family of 6. We have 4 children. Our oldest, Lily, is 15, and she is a freshman in high school. Cassie is 13, and she is currently online school at home with her brothers, Jeremy, who is 11, and Nathaniel, who is 10. Evan and I met in high school. We have been married for a little over 21 years. All 6 of us were born around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And in the past 10 years, we've moved a few times. Also, we ended up in Kentucky for a few years, and now here we are in Tennessee.
Yeah. So still Steeler fans.
We are
Steeler fans. Gotta be
fans.
Pittsburgh Steeler fans.
And we're currently doing full-time ministry, which is a blessing, but at times it also can be very challenging.
And I'm sure we're going to learn more about that as we do this talk here today. So when did you first get involved in ministry work? How did that happen? And what did you do before ministry work?
Well, both of us have degrees in education. Early on, I was a homeschool mom to our 4 children. I also led a co-op for about 2 years, and I had the most rewarding and challenging job as being a domestic engineer during that period of our lives.
Yes, definitely. You had the hardest job, no matter what we ever did.
Domestic engineer, I love that.
Yes.
I love it too. So I'm, as she said, education major. So I actually taught in the Pittsburgh public school system for about 15 years when we lived in Pittsburgh. So I was a high school English teacher, and I taught middle school for 2 years. Loved it. Really enjoyed the time with the students, and that actually led me a little bit into ministry. So while I was at the high school, I had some students come to me, and they actually started a Christian group there, which was really cool. And then about 15 years ago, we got involved in leading small groups and Bible studies within our church. And then God gave us opportunity for me to become a youth pastor. And so I was a youth pastor for about 2 years at a small church of about 80 to 100 people. And it was just a great, fulfilling time. But little did we know, God was still preparing us. And so then he called us to Kentucky, where then we both got jobs teaching at the Christian school there. And I was working as a family pastor and small groups pastor at that church. And we did that for about 3 years before moving here to Tennessee.
And what brought you to Middle Tennessee specifically, and where are you working your ministry right now?
Well, that's kind of a cool story. So obviously, sometimes I even hate to address the whole COVID scenario, but it did happen. And about January of 2020, I was asked to come speak at a men's retreat at Deer Run, which is right in Thompson Station. So I drove down from Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and I spoke to this church there in a group of men. Well, the name of that church was Grove Hill Church. And I had a side conversation with the pastor, Pastor Ridley there. And he had mentioned, oh, it'd be great to have you with us. And, we'd love to plant a church someday. And I didn't even thought about planting churches. But I went back, and I was still doing my job in ministry at the church in Kentucky. And then COVID hit, and it just changed everything. And God opened up an opportunity for us to say, hey, it's time to go. I have something else planned for you. And at the time, we weren't sure where.
Right.
But I reconnected with Pastor Ridley from Grove Hill. And lo and behold, God brought us to Tennessee. And here we are. And I learned, which this blew my mind, that Middle Tennessee is growing by 300% a year. I mean, that in the real estate business, right? So selling homes now is the place to be.
It's mind blowing when you think about.
So to do ministry in this area is really a blessing because the opportunities, the hearts, the people, it's just endless. And so he brought us to, Little Tennessee and Middle Tennessee, and we're working at a Grove Hill Church, which is in Chapel Hill, and we've been there for over a year now. And this past year, we've been given the ministry titles of church planter and multiplication ministers. So that's what we're doing. And God has then showed us Eagleville is a place that we want to start laying down some ideas.
I love it. So one thing about Middle Tennessee, guys, is we have so many people moving here that are
Yes.
leaving their church families, and they're leaving a huge part of their lives and coming here. They need to get planted quickly and rooted and meet some fellow people, like-minded people. And so you being out there spreading the word and doing the multiplication is pretty cool. I like
It
that.
is.
I like that. So where do you see yourself 1 year from now? Where do you see your ministry and your church? And let's look a little bit longer, in 5 years. Where do you see yourself?
I mean, I think definitely in the next year, God's really placed on our heart to really lay foundational work. And so, as you said, we've been coming to the first Fridays every first Friday. And we've actually, as much as we can, gotten involved in Eagleville, getting to know the merchants there, getting to know the shop owners and the fire chief. Had a great talk with the city manager there. And it's been great getting to know the people in Eagleville. And so within this next year, building that foundation to really meet the needs of a spiritual community.
Yes.
And so I think within a year, we'd like to lay down that foundation and let the people see that there's an opportunity for that community. And then within the next, I'd say 5 years, I would love to see God do such amazing things in Eagleville through a church planted in Eagleville to then multiply other churches to surrounding areas, to continue that idea, to encourage people with community, socially, mentally, emotionally, and of course, spiritually,
Yes.
all of those things.
Another thing I was just thinking about too is with COVID, it has put a damper on what my passion. I want to get back into teaching again. But right now, God has blessed me with being able to be home with my children. That's been my, sole focus right now. But I'm hoping that once we do get into Eagleville, I'd love to get in the school system because I love teaching, but I also have a passion just to be able to pour into children in ways that most teachers, I don't think, feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
But God's gifted me in that way. And I'd love to be able to do that, hopefully, within that year, maybe, by 5 years too.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I love your spirit of wanting to give and pour into people.
Thank
It
you.
makes you special. And it really stood out to me when we first met. I just felt it, you can feel that with people.
Aw.
So what do you want people to know about your church, guys? And how do they find out more about your church? Are you a non-denominational church? I never even asked you that question at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's a great question. So looking to plant a church, and the focus again is that spiritual community. So I would say, as far as denomination, I don't even want to say there is a denomination, but we do have support.
Yes.
And so I do want to acknowledge the support we get from the Tennessee Baptist Mission Board and from our church, Grove Hill Church, which is associated with Southern Baptist Convention. But it is
We've had a little bit from New Duck River too.
Yeah, New Duck River Association. And so I think one of the biggest, I'm so glad you asked that, because one of the biggest things in my heart is we need a church that is willing to cross racial challenges, generational challenges, and also denominational challenges. We need church where people can come to know the Word of God, that they are loved by God, they are known by God, and that they can feel like they are part of a community that is serving their own people within the community. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And so what I would love for people to know about what we want to do is create that and allow that to happen within Eagleville, not where we're just saying, hey, let's find a building and say people come. It's no, let the people become the church, because they're starting to trust and know a God who they want to serve, and then in turn serve others.
Right.
So how they can know more about it, they can come visit us on Sunday mornings at Grove Hill Church. We have services at 8 o'clock, 9:30, and 11. A little plug there. And it's right over in Chapel Hill, so it's not too far.
It takes about 12 minutes.
We have people that come from Spring Hill, from Franklin, from Rover, from Rockvale. So they come from all over. And then also that I think of what we also do, and I think we mentioned this before to you, that we actually have a Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So Annice and I started a Facebook page over a year ago that we do something, it's called Biblical Centered Life Discussions. So we're on a little bit of a hiatus right now for about 2 months.
Sabbatical.
But every week we get on and we just discuss with each other and anybody who gets on there and wants to pose questions. And we just talk about real life situations. We've talked about things from divorce, depression, spiritual warfare, suicide, just everything. And we coffee. Oh, lots of coffee. And so raising children, parenting, we have four. Yeah, marriage, singleness.
Yes, we had a friend of ours come on.
So that's one way that they can obviously contact us. They can get on Facebook and they can just search Biblical Centered Life Discussions. And there's ways to contact through email. But the best way, if they really want to hear more about us, we are going to have a tent at Eagleville's Fall Festival on September 25th. So you can come and find us there. We'll be doing some giveaways. We actually have a raffle for some pork shoulder that we're going to be giving away. So people who like to smoke some meat, right? And we'll hopefully have some balloons, face painting for kids. And we just want to get to know people.
Yes.
So come up, talk to us. That's exactly what we're here for.
That's awesome. I'm going to break away from my booth at Fall Festival to come hang out at your booth because your booth sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Well, you guys are awesome. You definitely have a heart to serve and it comes across and you're genuine. You're real people. Guys, if you get a chance to meet Evan and Annice at Fall Festival, at the Fall Festival, make it a point to stop by and say hello. They're not high pressure people. They just want to say hi, get to know you, see how they can help you. If there's any way to support you in your community. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, guys.
Thanks for having us. This was great. We love conversation like this. You guys have been great too. Every time we've been there on First Fridays, you were the first ones with smiling faces, and we love supporting you guys as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, have a great day. And I am going to come check you guys out one Sunday. I'm going to make it a point to get over to your church and come see what it's all about.
We would love
to see you there.
It's going to happen. It may happen Sunday. I may surprise you.
Okay.
Yay, awesome.
Sounds good.
Is there a dress code? Can I come in a t-shirt and jeans?
Oh my goodness.
Talk about that.
Jeans
I'm not a dress
t-shirt.
girl.
No.
Please, jeans and a
Jeans and
t-shirt would be great.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, have a great day, guys. Thanks again. I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.